Hi everyone, Thomas J. Nelson here from Big Block Realty San Diego and your Postcards from Success podcast host. If you're watching me on YouTube, hello everyone. Come check us out on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Postcards from Success is the name of the podcast. And if you're watching me, it's Casual Friday on a beautiful, hot, and sunny day here in San Diego. If you're already on the podcast, thank you very much for listening. And today we're going to talk about the value of your home. How do we come up with the value of your home? Well, actually, we don't as realtors, and you don't as a homeowner. The market decides how much your home is, and that goes up and down with the trends of the market. You will get a realtor to come out to your home, walk your property, get a sense of the upgrades and the remodeling you've done, the view you have, the peace and quiet of your neighborhood, or the proximity to things that attract people to that neighborhood, like maybe a great school or its proximity to a factory that everyone works at and it makes it convenient to go to work, that type of thing. But, and of course, there are internet sites like Zillow that can give you estimates, or other sites that give you valuations. But the problem with that is they're making a lot of assumptions. They're assuming that your home is the exact same as your neighbor's home. They're going on trends. They're going on sales trends and tax records. And that gets skewed because a lot of things are left out, like what I just mentioned. You know, you have upgrades, your neighbor doesn't. You have a view, your neighbor doesn't. Things that affect the neighborhood vary around the neighborhood. So the ideal way to know how much your home is worth is to have a realtor come out, walk the property, see everything about the home, the condition, the size, the landscaping, the view, etc. And then they go back and they plug in numbers to the multiple listing service. The MLS is where all realtors advertise their homes for sale. And so that's the best source of what properties are for sale. In fact, that's exactly where Zillow gets them from. Zillow wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Realtors MLS. Therefore, we go back and now we know how many bedrooms you have, how many bathrooms you have, what kind of upgrades you have. We know your square footage. We know the size of your lot. We plug those numbers into the MLS and we try to pull up homes that are similar to yours or comparable. You'll hear realtors use the phrase comps. So let's talk about a couple phrases real quick. So when I talk about the market value of your home, I'm not talking about your state or your county or your city. I'm talking about your neighborhood. 1 radius mile from your rooftop and no further. This is how appraisers do it. They're going to go no further out than a mile in any direction. They're going to limit it to usually about a 10% variance. For simplicity's sake, we're just going to say plus or minus a bedroom, plus or minus a bathroom, plus or minus maybe 100 to 200 square feet, maybe a little more depending on the original size of the home. That being said, though, we're looking for as close to a match as we can so we have as fair of a comparable as we can. So comps are just that, comparable homes to yours. And then what we're going to do is go no further back in the MLS on sold properties than 6 months. Ideally, we don't go any further back than 90 days, but if in 90 days not enough property is sold, we start going back 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. But beyond 6 months, it's not a fair comparable because it's a different market. In fact, real estate changes every 3 to 6 months. So sometimes going 5 or 6 months back isn't a fair comparable because what was going on in January may be completely different than what's going on in July and so forth. But that's what we're doing. We're pulling up similar to same bedroom, bath, square footage, lot size, major amenities like a pool, no pool, tennis court, 3 garages versus a 1-car garage, that kind of thing. And then we're pulling up and seeing, okay, how's it trending? We're going by sold properties because those are proven. They're irrefutable. This is what they were asking. This is what they sold for. By the way, what was the difference in what they asked and what they got? That shows you market trend. Also, how many days did it take them to sell? How many days on market? We might peek at the pendings because the pendings also show us market trend. Is it trending up? Are the pendings at a higher price point than the solds? Is it trending down? Are the pendings trending lower than the recent solds? That helps us when we're deciding price because we don't want to chase the market. We want to get ahead of it in price. We don't look at actives because actives are unproven, unsold homes. Their asking price is just a wish. And we don't know if the seller is overpriced or suffering from castle syndrome. A lot of sellers have castle syndrome. I have the best house on the block. My neighbors are selling for 550. My place is easily worth 600 because we put in granite countertops 10 years ago. That stuff happens. You know you do that. Anyhow, once we get all that information, and I try to get somewhere between half a dozen and a dozen good comparables, that shows us a trend. It usually gives us a bracket. So let's just say again that in your neighborhood, you're hoping to sell for 550,000. We get comparables for your home that suggest that most of your neighbors are selling between 530 and 570,000. Then 570 is very realistic. And then we look at, well, why did some people have to sell at 530 versus some people got 570? That starts to show us, okay, what amenities and upgrades and perks did those homes come with that got them more, and what were they lacking that got them less, and where does your home fall into that spectrum? So hopefully that makes sense. If you want more information about valuing your home, you can reach out to me at thomasjnelsonrealtor.com on my website, or at Postcards from Success on Facebook, or you can reach out to me at 858-232-8722. We can do a desktop valuation of your home, which means we don't come out to your home. We'll just do it based on the multiple listing service data. Or if you want us to come out to your home for no obligation, it takes about 20 minutes. We'll walk your property, go back to the office, come up with a valuation, and usually within the same day to 24 hours later, you've got a nice report showing you what the value is. The three top reasons people want to know their value beyond just general curiosity is: number one, maybe you're thinking about selling. Number two, maybe you want to know if it's time to refi and how much equity do you have in the property, and what decides whether or not you're going to refi. Also, the amount of equity in your property should be setting the budget you have for your remodeling and your upgrades. Because if you only have $40,000 worth of equity in your home, for example, you don't want to do $75,000 worth of improvements. You're never going to recapture that additional 35,000 if suddenly a year from now you have to sell unexpectedly, unless for some reason you get lucky and the market is trending up at the time you do your remodel, and it's still trending up at the time you need to sell. But erring on the side of caution, typically your equity sets your budget so that you don't over improve your home for the area, because that leads to castle syndrome, which leads to overpricing, which leads to sitting on the market way too long. And then you're not only not going to get your overprice, you're not even going to get market value, because now the buyers have told themselves a story. They're either saying there's something wrong with the house, or it's definitely overpriced, or you're an unreasonable seller and they don't want to deal with you. They're going to let you sit, and then you're never going to sell. Price your home right and it sells. Any home will sell priced right. I once sold a home in one of the worst neighborhoods of San Diego, and it was in demolished condition. It had a hole in the roof. It had a giant gaping hole in the floor, which went straight down to the basement. The bathroom was gutted. The kitchen was gutted. There was no back door. There was 6 months worth of bagged trash in the backyard, and the garage roof had caved in on a car, which could not be removed from the garage because it was buried under the roof. That home actually sold for $10,000 over asking because it was priced right, and we got a bidding war because contractors wanted it to scrape the house and build a new one. It was in a good enough area that for the right price to buy the lot, they could put up a new home and turn a profit on fix and flip or a buy and hold. So the point being, price it right, it'll sell. Price it high, it'll sit. If you want more information about your home, I'm happy to come out to it. Or if you're not in San Diego, I have a realtor network of friends. These are people I actually know in literally every state in the union, all 50 states plus Canada. So let me know where you are, and I can send a very friendly realtor out to you that I'll put my name to do the same service for you. I'm Thomas J. Nelson with Big Block Realty, bringing people home to San Diego. And from Postcards from Success, success happens here. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time.